The Notebook of Doom. Pop the Bumpy Mummy. Chapter 1, Junk Mail. Alexander Bopp was almost home when he heard the screaming. It was coming from his house. He ran to his yard. His dad was on the front porch, twisting and shouting. "Dad," he yelled. Alexander had seen lots of weird things since moving to Sturmont. Weird things like monsters. He'd battled balloon goons, shadow smashers, tunnel fish, and other creepy creatures. Alexander looked from the porch to the trees to the driveway. No monsters. Oh, wait, Dad's not under attack, he thought. He's dancing. Good news, Al. His dad said. It's finally here. Alexander's dad boogied into the house. Alexander followed, dropping his backpack by the door. What's here, Dad? His dad spun around, holding a padded envelope. The Reflecto 900 is here, he said. He ripped open the envelope and pulled out a golden wand. It's the perfect dental tool. Reflecto 900. Built-in light. Fog-proof mirror. Solid gold. Alexander gave his dad a funny look. Geez, Al, his dad said. If you were a dentist, you'd be going nuts about this mirror. He polished the Reflecto 900 on his sleeve. Let's see if your package is any better. I have a package? Asked Alexander. You sure do, his dad said. Although it doesn't say who it's from. He handed Alexander a rainbow-striped box. It was large, but very light. It looks like a birthday present, said Alexander's dad. It can't be, said Alexander. My birthday isn't until February 29th. That's months away. He tore into the box. Look at all that bubble wrap, his dad said. Whatever is in there must be good. Alexander dug around in the box. He yanked out a huge blob of bubble wrap. It's empty, he said. Check again, his dad said. You must have missed something. Alexander checked. Nope, he said. Just a bunch of bubble wrap. His shoulders slumped. Sorry, kiddo, his dad said. Alexander tossed the box aside. Why would someone send me an empty box? Tell you what, said Alexander's dad. Let's have waffles for dinner. He set the Reflecto 900 on the coffee table and walked toward the kitchen. Hey, Al, called his dad. Why don't you bring that box and bubble wrap to school tomorrow for packing day? Oh, yeah, okay, said Alexander, popping a few bubbles. Tomorrow was the last day of school. And Sturmont Elementary was getting ready to move into a brand new building. The principal had asked students to donate boxes. Alexander looked over at the empty box. Then he dropped the bubble wrap on the coffee table and headed to the kitchen. Chapter 2, Packing Day. Honk honk HOONNNNNNK. Alexander knew that honk. It was the old "we're going to be late for school if you don't get down here right now" honk. Coming, Dad, he shouted. He grabbed his box, ran outside, and hopped in the car. Did you bring the bubble wrap, too? Asked Alexander's dad. No, I couldn't find it, said Alexander. Well, I'll be flossed, said Alexander's dad. I can't find my Reflecto 900 either. You left it on the coffee table last night, said Alexander. I looked there, said his dad, but no luck. Alexander pulled his spelling book out of his backpack. A piece of paper fell to the seat. Pajama party at the Sturmont Museum Saturday night sleepover. See the ruby scorpion and the bumpy mummy. Bring your sleeping bag. Chaperones, asterisk Mr. Plunkett, Mr. Horsley, asterisk Dr. Bopp. Coupon, 10% off any paperweight at the gift shop. Oh, yeah, Dad. The museum sleepover is tomorrow night, said Alexander. I know, his dad grinned. We're going to have a blast. Alexander opened the spelling book. He had tucked an old notebook inside. SSMP Doom. SSMP Sadface Super Secret Monster Patrol. Creepy Skull. Full of monster drawings. The notebook belonged to the Super Secret Monster Patrol. It was their job to keep Sturmont safe from monsters. Alexander was one of the club's 3 members. He flipped the notebook open. Purple Slur PR, 2 arms. 2 legs. 39 tongues. Habitat, under the dinner table. Peter Picker piped a pack, Peeper Piper packed a peep, Pickle Peter Pepede, these guys hate tongue twisters. Diet, purple slurpers love to lick chocolate icing and melted popsicles off of people's faces. Behavior, drooling slobbering stamp collecting. Warning! Scrub your face at least once a week, or you might get licked. We're here, said his dad. Alexander closed the notebook as his dad pulled into the school parking lot. The car stopped beside a sign. Students and teachers were busy loading boxes into a moving truck. Happy packing day, Al, said his dad. See you after school. Thanks, Dad, said Alexander. He hopped out of the car with his big striped box and plunk. Walked into someone carrying another big striped box. Salamander, she said. Salamander was Alexander's nickname. His 2 friends in the SSMP called him that. And he had just crashed into one of them. Hi, Nikki, he said. Hey. Your box looks just like mine. Did yours come in the mail yesterday, too? She asked. Yes, said Alexander. But mine was empty. Except for some bubble wrap. Same here, said Nikki. Suddenly, they heard an angry growl. A wall of cardboard boxes started shaking. Then K.A. bash! It came crashing down. Ha! Scared you, weenies, said a spiky-haired kid. It was Rip Bonkowski, the 3rd and loudest member of the SSMP. Good one, Rip, Alexander said. Hey, look, said Rip. Our boxes are triplets. He held up another striped box. Weird, said Alexander. 3 matching boxes? More than 3, said Nikki. She pointed to a sign that said Box Drop OFF. Students were lined up, all carrying striped boxes. Alexander counted. 13, 14, 15, 16 matching boxes, he said. That's super strange. Yeah, so spooky, said Rip, rolling his eyes. Let's dump our boxes and get to class. Chapter 3, Last Class. Alexander grabbed the cold, metal handle of the cold, metal door to his cold, metal classroom. Then he paused. You guys, he said. Today is our last day in the morgue. Finally, said Rip. Our last day in the room where they used to freeze dead people. Next fall, we'll go to an actual school, said Nikki, instead of an old hospital. Alexander smiled as he yanked open the door one last time. The room was full of half-packed boxes. In the middle of the boxes sat Mr. Plunkett, a teacher with rainbow suspenders and a bushy mustache. Grab a seat, students, said Mr. Plunkett. If you can find one. Alexander, Rip, and Nikki sat among the boxes. Mr. Plunkett stood on a box so he could see everyone. Our museum sleepover is tomorrow night, he said. So today's lesson will be about our town's greatest treasure, the ruby scorpion. Alexander watched his classmates' faces light up. He raised his hand. Mr. Plunkett? What's a ruby scorpion? Oh, right. You're kind of new to Sturmont, said Mr. Plunkett, hopping down from the box. I've got a super cool film strip about the ruby scorpion. I'll just unpack my projector and show you. He opened a large, wooden crate. Huh, said Mr. Plunkett. He dug into the crate, tossing aside some bubble wrap. My projector is gone. Mr. Plunkett scratched his mustache. Oh, well, he said. I'll draw the ruby scorpion for you. Mr. Plunkett drew a mean-looking creature on the whiteboard. It had sharp claws and an even sharper tail. It's a red gem that looks like this, he said. Nikki raised her hand. How much is it worth? She asked. Gazillions of dollars, said Mr. Plunkett. Pip pop. Okay, very funny. Mr. Plunkett turned back to the class. Who's playing with my bubble wrap? Alexander looked around. The bubble wrap was nowhere to be seen. My projector and the bubble wrap are both gone, said Mr. Plunkett. He looked at Rip. What? Said Rip. Why does everyone look at me when stuff happens? Well, those things didn't just walk away, said Mr. Plunkett. He capped his marker. Fine. Let's move on to math. Alexander wrote a quick note. He slid it over to Rip